Hey, everybody. I just wanted to chat you up for a minute, kind of clear something up a little bit. First off, as always, this is just like my point of view. These are only my thoughts. But something funny has happened in the digital space. And I'm not sure what the exact source of it is. I have a couple ideas, but this is actually a really fortunate situation. There's some construction going on right over there. And it kind of demonstrates something, which is why I think this problem exists. There's a lot of noise out there. Okay? Let's face that. There is a ton of noise. And there's a great distinction about that. It's called signal versus noise, right? Trying to get a clear beam, a broadcast piercing through that noise. So what I'm talking about right now in terms of signal is the signal of one-to-one relationships and person-to-person communication. Now, I get it. Like text messaging, direct messaging, dating apps, social networking apps, all that kind of stuff have given us a little bit of a false sense of security, meaning that there doesn't really always seem to be like another person there. Obviously, there is another person there, but we have stopped treating them like people. So what I mean by this is some of the responses that I see going on out there. Now, I'm a member of a couple of communities, and so I'm not talking about direct messages that come to me. I'm talking about like dozens of direct messages or hundreds of conversations that I end up listening into about direct messaging, one-on-one communication, in-app, in a whole variety of different spaces. And again, people have completely lost their manners. Now, I'm not saying it's super easy to tell what's going on for another person over there on the other side of that screen, right? Text messaging is really limited. I ask people a lot of the time, like, what percentage of communication is nonverbal? And my joke about it is it depends on which TED Talk you watch. But the answer is it's high, somewhere between 75 and 90%, depending on which TED Talk you watch. The whole point behind this is that texting hardly qualifies as communication. And it's already impersonal. So being arbitrarily rude doesn't work. Right. And this is my whole goal in this, at least to bring into the conversation the idea of like, why don't we bring a little bit of humanity back into communication? Because this is already a super narrow space for relatability to each other. And so when messages go out, which are networking in the digital space, especially on specific apps which are for networking, and you get rude things back, it just shows that people have forgotten. I love this game called Shifting Contexts, right? Some of you may not have done this, and this is maybe the problem out there, is that we have a whole generation or two that hasn't had to do one-on-one interpersonal networking. But I remember going to meetings where you have to introduce yourself to somebody. And so when you walk up to another human being, it's the beginning of a conversation. You're like, hey, your name, my name, how's it going? That's great. And there's some back and forth. You don't just walk up to the person, palm them in the face, and then go, what's your offer? It doesn't work. For those of you who are making offers, but also for those of you who are receiving networking messages that don't contain an offer. Right? And this is my thing. I just find there's so much resignation and negativity out there in that space. I don't know who did it or when it happened, but it seems to have been kind of ruined and turned into this transactional thing. And again, this space is an opportunity for connection and conversation. So just my point of view, just my opinion is, before you react, before you recoil, before you like throw something in somebody else's face that you might regret, or number one, that you'd never have the courage to do in an interpersonal situation, slow down a little bit. Back up. Reconsider what's going on in your head versus what's on the screen and how you're interpreting. And then consider treating that other person like a person for just a moment and see what happens. Because all good things out there come through collaboration, through opening yourself up to opportunities and ideas that you don't have. If you're not living the life that you want or the life that you dream, it's because of your limitations. So consider that whenever you're approached for a conversation, it's an opportunity for you to see something in a different way and possibly take a leap forward and shorten the curve or trajectory of your personal journey by miles, by weeks, or even years, if you just learn how to listen and have a conversation with another person. Thanks for your time. I hope you have a great day. Be well.